welcome to our Halloween edition of This Week in White Supremacy. I am Andre 3000.
Sound just like him, man. That's crazy.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo! I am for real. What's up going on? Yes, come on, man. You know what I mean? You know, I'm here, brother. I'm here. And to my immediate right.
It's a miracle.
Do you miss your Uncle Charles? That's the question.
I do. But yeah, you know, I'm just your quintessential rapper from the South.
Yes.
Leaning with it, rocking with
Or
it.
from the Midwest.
From the Midwest.
Whatever you choose. And who are you, my brother?
Young Money. Syrup in the big shot. Time to do the thing. That's word to your wristwatch. Shoot the Glock till it burn to my wrist lock. Rims hella big time, skinny like Chris Rock.
Okay, Lil Wayne. Okay,
You know
okay,
what I'm
Wayne.
saying?
All right. Yeah, that was really good.
Weezy F in the building.
Come on. And sir. Go Shorty. It's your birthday?
Hey, listen.
Oh, that's the song you were going to. I was going with
Nah.
Many Men, and then like I understand it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I bet you do.
You understand?
Yeah, nah, you know, it's me. Shooter's always in demand.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, come on.
do many men wish death upon you? Sir?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Pundamandum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Sometimes you're walking the streets with your flute, right?
Like in Japan?
No, like Andre 3 with your stick. You know, you walk with the stick.
Yeah, walk softly, carry a big stick?
Yes.
Who said that?
And
Wasn't it
I think that's
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt? Yeah.
And you have a show called This Week in White Supremacy, and you wonder, what shall we talk about this week? And then the universe hands you a Trump rally
Jesus Christ.
that is more racist than even the regular Trump rally. It was like,
Yeah, it's like, how do you get more racist than like your brand?
you know, it's like they
You know
had
what I mean?
they had a meeting and it was like, yo,
Did they go too racist? Did they go too MAGA?
well, I think this is the question, right? Because a lot of people looked at this Trump rally in Madison Square Garden and was saying like it was very reminiscent of a rally I guess the Nazis had at Madison Square Garden, like to rally the Nazi party. And so a lot of people, you know, Trump came out recently and said that he wanted generals like Hitler's generals.
Yeah.
You know, Trump has been using a lot of references to the blood like Hitler and the Nazis did, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, a lot of people at Trump rallies fly swastikas or have swastikas because they're
I
comfortable.
wonder if that means, you know, they're related in some form or fashion.
I mean, again, so it probably wasn't a stretch that they would hire a comedian, and this comedian is known for his racism. Did you want to play this clip where this comedian, and I don't want to, Tony?
We don't care about
Tony
anything.
Hinchcliffe? I don't care who he is, but this was part of the comedy that was introduced at the Trump rally. Let's go. Yes, comedy
Quotes,
very
yeah,
loosely.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again, normal.
Yeah, it's like most people didn't find that funny.
Yeah,
Even
I mean,
there, like that, the joke didn't land at the Trump rally, so it's like, you know.
right. And you're right before an election. For instance, a state like Pennsylvania, we have a lot of Puerto Rican voters.
Absolutely.
And so
Across the state, not just in like one location.
absolutely. So when this clip went out, a lot of people called on the popular Puerto Rican people to possibly have a respond. One person that did respond was Bad Bunny. Right? Bad Bunny has 45 million followers on Instagram, and Bad Bunny retweeted a clip of Kamala Harris talking about her plan for Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans on his Instagram to his 45 million followers. I guess there were other Puerto Rican artists that's also Luis Fonsi also basically put something out and said, going down this racist path ain't it. You know what I'm saying? They said Ricky Martin, who previously endorsed Kamala Harris, said that's what they think of us.
Who was the fat white comedian who used to always have race jokes?
Ralphie May.
Ralphie May. That was my guy. Not like he was my guy, but like he knew how to make racism funny, right?
Yes.
He called himself an equal opportunity racist and were highly bigoted, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's a way to do because it was that tweet. Like sometimes racism be funny, right?
That's a fact.
It happens, and we all know that. But this guy was just like unnecessary. It was like, how can I be a shock jock right now and just like offend all the people? But it was like it wasn't all the people. It was just like the people of color, right?
Yes.
I did like a little perusing. I didn't see him making any jokes about white men.
No.
I didn't see him making jokes about billionaires
Or rural MAGA voters.
You know, it was like, it's just a reminder, like, because I saw that crowd was diverse. Some of the speakers were diverse. And it's just a reminder that, like, you can get close, but not too close.
Yes.
We are going to let you in here to do this little bit of labor because we need your little vote for November.
Right.
But you're still not like us. You're still not one of us.
Correct.
And that was what that signified to me because, like, why in the world would you even make those jokes that he made?
And again, it wasn't like it was connected to anything that had to do with like Puerto Rican culture, where like you said, you're like maybe making a light joke about Puerto Rican culture, Puerto Rican food. You know, we've seen some of this happen before in comedy, right? It was strictly like, oh, your whole island is a floating piece of garbage. So then
that we just happen to love the vacation at.
Right, but I mean, he didn't even say that. Yo, did you know there was a floating piece of garbage in the ocean? It's Puerto Rico. So then everybody that's from that island or comes from that island are garbage too. So it's not, where is the joke in that? You know what I'm saying? Where's the joke in saying these people are garbage and everybody there is garbage, right? Because if you said, oh, hey, you know, we have this state in the middle of America, Oklahoma, it's garbage, right? Remember when, I forget who, I think it was when Trump and Hillary, right? And somebody referred to people that supported Donald Trump as deplorables. And they used that. They were like, oh, they call us deplorables. They're talking down to us. Okay, so now what do you say when somebody says everybody from this particular place is garbage, right? And so not even I'm saying that supports even one side or another. No, you Puerto Rican, you garbage. And to do that for laughs, now what do you say? You had comment trouble?
Yeah, I think that was lazy. I wouldn't even call bro a comedian after that. He just sounds like one of those lunchroom bullies who likes to pick on the people who can't really who he sees as lesser than. I just, after hearing that joke, I'm like, what did Puerto Rico have to do with any part of this rally?
No, right.
Why did he choose, of all the things he could have talked about, to target Puerto Ricans?
Right.
And I'm frankly tired of the immigration rhetoric that's been echoed throughout Trump's campaign. And yeah, I'm just...
Well, unfortunately, Trouble, there's more. I know you're probably tired of this rhetoric. And it's just like, there probably was Puerto Ricans there too. So it's like, you know, it reminds me of the last episode where you talked about Trump supporters like having this relationship with pain, right? Where he's going to disrespect you and talk down to you. And so if they're there and a Puerto Rican now, because it's in New York, there probably were, and there probably were other Latino folks there, and this is what he had to say about the Latino community.
Migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this.
He's gesturing, go back.
Yeah,
home.
he's gesturing like, go away from me. Yeah.
It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country.
Again, I mean, I think, you know, that's the thing. Clearly, it wasn't funny. And it's like, but this is the thing, right? You know, like, we have engaged with politicians on this election. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A lot of politicians come through, right? When these politicians come through and you're invited to one of these rallies, even if you're just meeting them, there is a vetting process that you have to go through.
Right.
They vet you, they vet your background. So again, this is the thing to understand. Somebody knew that this was the type of comedy this guy does.
Of course.
They knew that he did racist comedy. He was vetted. They watched him. Sometimes you even have to share beforehand what you're going to say. Depending on what type of stage you get on, we don't know if that's the case here.
Dinner, yeah.
Yeah, you got to share. This is what I'm going to say. So they knew that he was this type of comedian. They knew he was going to go up there and talk badly about these people. So like now that there's some type of fallout, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, what? Oh, you didn't know what he was going to say? This man is on your stage, on your podium in front of a sign that says Trump and Trump and JD Vance. So you had to know, Farouk.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I've seen some of his comedy on Instagram and on TikTok and everything like that, and it's all racially based. But as Miracle said earlier, I think there's a version of comedy that exists within like a racist way that it can be done, and it's hilarious. Now there's been so many great comedians who have done it, like Richard Pryor, Andrew Dice Clay, who was like really racist. He made funny racist comedy.
Right. And I say that because we were at the Halloween, we did like a Halloween party with slappers and bangers, and somebody was dressed like, to me, one of the greatest, when you talk about racism in comedy, was Dave Chappelle's skit with the blind racist, the black guy.
Clayton Bigsby.
Clayton Bigsby, right.
Yeah,
so somebody was dressed like Clayton Bigsby at the thing, right, where he doesn't know he's black and he's being racist. Like this is, obviously like one of the, so you can't, again, there's a way you can talk about race and comedy and be funny, but this is a Trump rally, right? They're not interested in that. They're interested in jokes about Latinos and Puerto Ricans. And obviously, of course, you got to make jokes about black people. Did you want to play that?
Right? Heck yeah, it's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that, a lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding, that's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun, we carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
I just like, if you're voting Republican, you're voting for Trump, and this is the thing that you're subjected to at these rallies, and you still feel good about your vote. I mean, that's great for you, I guess. Like, self-deprecation might be something that, you're a fan of, but that's not winning any votes for me.
But again, I mean, I could see if this was, like, let's say Trump was just some guy that was like a regular politician, right? He's not. He actually has policies like Project 2025 that was, funded and supported by all these folks that are around him that directly impact, that's specifically designed to target black people, Puerto Ricans, and Latinos, right? So this isn't just jokes, right? This is somebody who has a history. Point. Right. This is Trump. I mean, come on, this dude is doing rallies in sundown towns, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, he's basically running his whole campaign, like Trouble said about the immigration thing. He's running his whole campaign talking about Haitian immigrants, talking about African immigrants, right? Talking about Mexican immigrants. So his whole campaign is steeped in attacking these communities.
And I think, and this is to my point of what I said about Trump before, is like, he can always say, I didn't say these jokes. Right? He can always distance himself from it.
I don't think, well, again, I think if this was some Trump rally that was somewhere else, yes, right? If this was some Trump rally that Trump wasn't a part of, and you could say, oh, this is just some guy, he had a Trump shirt on and hat. This is Trump's big rally. Yeah. Madison Square Garden, his people
he still
put
has
it together.
Plausible deniability, though.
How?
He didn't say it.
Put it together.
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that's what he would say. I didn't make these jokes. Like, he always will default to that. I've never said anything racist, because he's always teetering that line. Like, Trump wasn't up there making, like, he's had people come to his sponsored rallies and say racist shit before, and he's always been able to kind of, double dutch in and out of it.
But again, I think that then you can't say, it's like, if that's the piece, right, then you can't you can't try to throw stuff on Kamala that maybe other people have said, or maybe even somebody like Joe Biden did. If that's the case,
I
that
agree.
You're using.
No, I agree with you.
You know
I'm just saying that's always his cop out, is that, like, I've never said these things, and that's what his supporters say. Trump's never said anything.
I mean, he has
himself.
said a lot. I mean, according to people, he said the N-word. I mean, he has said a lot. I mean, obviously, to his supporters, it doesn't matter. Most people that support Trump support him because of his racism.
Absolutely.
Support him because of his white supremacy. So, Miracle, coming to you. Obviously, this is a very close race. In a state like Pennsylvania, we have a lot of Puerto Rican folks in PA. We have a lot of Latino, immigrants in Pennsylvania. Do you think this will hurt Donald Trump's chances on Tuesday?
Yes, I do think it would hurt because one of the reasons why there are so many Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania is because of Trump's abject failure to respond to, I think it was Hurricane Maria that ravaged Puerto Rico a few years ago.
Well, he did respond, Miracle. He went there and he tossed bounty towels to paper towns to everybody.
That is where I'm going.
Fucking crazy.
That shit was crazy.
That is where I'm going, right? Not only did he go to Puerto Rico and disrespect people on the island,
yes,
he also delayed a lot of the funding for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are still, in some ways, refugees in the United States, even though Puerto Ricans are Americans, because of the way he started that aid process that caused even more destruction to people's homes, that even caused even more of an expense to go back and to rebuild. That's why there's still an ongoing rebuilding process. And now there are gentrifiers and developers in Puerto Rico because of the actions of Donald Trump.
Can they vote in the presidential election?
Yes.
They can?
There are people who are here are able to vote.
I thought the island wasn't allowed to vote.
But it's been years. So now they are, after 4 years, you're able to vote in the presidential election. They've been living in Puerto Rico. Living in the continental U.S.
But if you live on an island, right? If you're a resident of Puerto Rico,
it is my understanding.
I thought they couldn't vote.
You do not. But if you are someone who lives in a U.S. territory and you relocate to the continental United States, after you have been here, I believe it's for 4 years. You are then eligible to vote.
Because I guess the point I was trying to get, and I wasn't trying to cut you off, was like, is this why they're subject to so much like disrespect? Because their vote doesn't count?
No, part of it is because there is a move to either free Puerto Rico, either make it its own entity, free, or to make it a 51st state.
Right, and that's been a conversation forever.
For now, it's a territory. And so a lot of people who are part of the free Puerto Rico wave are like, we don't want to be a U.S. state. We don't want to be a U.S. colony.
Right.
Let us be our own country.
Right.
And so there is a lot of conversation, and particularly because Puerto Rico, for rich people, has become a tax haven.
Yes. Yeah.
Because their taxes are a little bit different. And so people like Bad Bunny have been organizing and really basically saying, we don't want continental Americans in Puerto Rico because you are buying up land, you're kicking Puerto Ricans out, you are not investing through your taxes into our island, and so therefore we do not have resources to live, to survive, to have health care, all of these policies that you have on quote unquote the main island.
Yeah. And just to touch on this is from USA Today. It says more than 2/3 of Puerto Ricans live in the United States, roughly 5.8 million, according to the Pew Research Center. Puerto Rican voters living in the U.S. make up the second largest Latino group in the country, including in key battleground states like Pennsylvania. But while an additional 3.3 million Puerto Ricans live on the island, a U.S. territory, they're not able to vote for president. It says Puerto Rican residents are able to help choose each party's nominee for president in the primary selection process, but they're, because it's a U.S. territory, they cannot vote for president, which is crazy. Because obviously who's president affects, Puerto Ricans, but that's kind of where we are right now.
So they're considered Americans. But let's say, what is it? It's 2024. So if you in 2019 move to Pennsylvania, change your residency to Pennsylvania after 4 years, you are considered a Pennsylvania resident, and then therefore you can vote in the presidential election, but you have to live and change your residency.
I just thought the joke and the conversation around Puerto Rico is so fascinating when all these white people do go to this island and seek tax breaks, and they go there for the snowbird thing and all this other shit. So is it a pile of garbage at that point when you're down there, paying less taxes and escaping the cold weather?
I mean, these same white people go to Puerto Vallarta and they go to Cabo and they go to Cancun. You know what I'm saying? These same racist people that's like, oh, we don't want these Mexicans Mexicans in our country,
but they'll go
there. They put their little sombreros on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all of that. So again, I mean, it is, and the same with us. You know, they love black culture but hate black people, right?
Absolutely.
As we're dressed up like our favorite rappers, and rap music is the number one genre of music in the world, but definitely in the United States. You love our culture, but you hate us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, and Trump has been very clear on his disdain for black people, going all the way back to when he wouldn't rent people homes, and, you know, wouldn't rent people places in his businesses. You know, his father did that, and he did it as well. And so, I mean, again, if you're black and Latino and still, you know, intend to vote for Donald Trump, I mean, it's like it was something on Twitter where a woman tweeted out like her and her partner, and she was like two lesbians voting for Trump, and somebody put like a meme where it was like slugs for salt, where like salt was running, salt was running, and it was like slugs for salt, slugs for salt.
Hilarious.
And it's like,
hilarious.
you're voting for your own demise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
voting
Against
for
your own self-interest,
against
yeah.
your own self-interest and your party self-interest. Well, while that was happening at the Madison Square Trump rally, a different type of energy and celebrity entertainment was happening at the Kamala rally in Houston. And surprisingly, you know, Donald Trump kind of summed up the best as to what was happening there. Can you play that clip for us, sir?
Joe Biden is asleep. Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce. 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 Dance party with Beyonce.
Hey,
Dance party with Beyonce.
let's go.
Dance party with Beyonce.
Oh, wow. This is the first time I've seen the video.
Dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce. Beyonce.
Hey.
Beyonce.
Oh, that one clip,
Party
huh?
with Beyonce. 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 Dance party with Beyonce.
Come on, the bass came
Dance
in. Come
party
on,
with
man.
Beyonce.
All right, we can pause that.
Dance
We
party
can
with
pause that. Yes, Beyonce, you know, swooped in like the, you know, celebrity she is. Beyonce and Kelly. Let's not forget Kelly, because Kelly
Yeah, let's
also
never forget Kelly.
Kelly
Ever.
also came with some, you know, the smoke and the energy. And so Beyonce had a few words to say about this political moment. Do you want to play some of Beyonce's words, sir?
I see Beyonce coming up with oh man.
Looking amazing.
H-Town.
Let's go.
That crowd is crazy. I gotta turn that
We are so happy to be standing here on this stage as proud country Texas women supporting and celebrating the one and only Vice President Kamala Harris. A woman who's been pushing for what this country really needs right now: unity. It's impossible not to feel the energy in this room, the positivity, the community, the humanity.
You can pause that. So Beyonce went on to say that she wasn't there attending the rally as a celebrity or a politician, but as a mother who cares deeply about the world her children and all of our children live in. Miracle? Beyonce. Maybe one of the big, okay, so now we have Bad Bunny and his
Meg.
45 million followers. We have Meg the Stallion. And we had Usher.
People.
Usher roller skated his way into a Kamala rally in
Did he
Atlanta.
really?
No, he didn't. But
Oh,
you
I
know,
was about to
Usher
say.
did roller
He
skating.
appeared.
Yes, and now the Queen, Beyonce.
Trouble, you want to go? You want me to go?
I would like you to go,
first.
Miracle.
First.
Ladies first.
Yeah, all these people but no Palestinians. It's like, yay. Right? And so I think that is the problem. Like, you're doing all of this outreach, but you are skirting around the issue that is making you slide in the polls. And what I think the Harris campaign needs to do is be actual level set. You see Congressman Rokana. You see, oh my gosh, his name, the Attorney General of Michigan. I forgot his name. Is right there.
Keith Ellison?
Keith Ellison is
Yeah.
out on the road. The biggest conversation right now, and you even saw with some of the remarks that were made at the rally, is this conversation about what we are going to do to get more young people to turn out. There are a lot of celebrities, right? Celebrities are coming. Celebrities are showing up to encourage people to vote.
We had a celebrity right here in our office. Mm-hmm. We had Kerry Washington.
Oh.
We had Kerry Washington and we had Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah.
Right here, kicking it with us.
Great people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because right now, this is an election about turnout. And there is still a fear that a large portion of the electorate is not going to show up. In Pennsylvania, you have had already 1 million people voting. The 2020 election, it was only like 32%, I believe, of millennial and Gen Z voters who showed up. And what we need is a mass amount of people, because you've seen, people blowing up the ballot boxes. You've seen Elon Musk basically violating every form of like campaign finance law. We see people literally telling folks that their votes do not count. So we know that there is this means to depress the vote and attack the vote. And that is why a lot of these celebrities are coming out, are hitting the pavement. Today, Glorilla endorsed Kamala, I believe, on TikTok. Plies just dropped
a song out,
a song. There's a bunch of things. So allegedly, Taylor Swift is supposed to be like campaigning in Pennsylvania.
Oh, really? Wow.
There's all these rumors.
How about Taylor?
There's always rumors that Taylor is going to show up somewhere.
Onehood.org, Taylor.
But I think that is what
we don't.
She really needs to do. Like, that needs to be like the image. That way there are people who can basically say, okay, we do not get along, but the Democratic Party is this big tent party that's there for all of us, and we may hurt each other, we may disagree, but at the end of the day, this election, this unity, this ability that what Beyonce was talking about, for us to grow and fight for a future, we can only do that together. I think that's what Harris needs to do. I'm personally tired of living in a swing state. I'm tired of the calls.
It's pretty exhausting.
I'm tired of the texts.
Yes, me too.
It's a lot. And I was like, if we could just maybe get to have a groundswell of like support, and then we can literally have a big win next week, then I think it gives people like actual like room. Okay, so these are.
I did want to just talk to you about, because you're to sum it up. Right, because you said a lot.
Was that long? Oh, I'm sorry.
You said a lot. And Miracle used to say at the end of the day, all the time on the show back in the day. and we would play that bell all the time, and she doesn't say it as much. And so, yes. So this is the question I had, because you feel like the celebrities aren't moving the needle? Like that Kamala, instead of engaging celebrities, should be engaging people that are closer to the issues. Right?
Correct. I think it needs to be a mix, right? Because I think that if it was Beyonce, she had the rally, but before it was all the women in Texas who have been denied an abortion had a round table with Beyonce, and we got to see those photos. I think that is good, right? I think that when she goes to and she's rallying with like Bruce Springsteen, having people who are worried about their pensions, who are worried about like their retirement,
laborers,
people who are now saying like we own our home, but like we've been working for the man and now the man is not working for us. I think that works. I think it has to be a mix, because these issues that people are facing are so real, and Trump has a simple message of your life is messed up, blame an immigrant. I think that because he's making the issue so personal, that Harris has to make it personal as well.
Okay, speaking
with
to
her
that.
celebrity.
Right. Okay, speaking to that, because you mentioned the issue of Palestine. And at this Trump rally in Madison Square Garden, Rudy Giuliani spoke about the issue of Palestine, and he spoke about it in this way. Did you want to play that clip?
I didn't know that this was at the Garden.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Which apparently, like you said, because people were making comparisons to
the Hitler rally.
1939?
Yes, the Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden. Do you want to play that clip, sir?
There was a Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden?
I said that like about a half an hour ago. Do you want to play the clip, sir?
No.
But anyway, I think this was, since we're not going to play the clip.
Want to get shot 9 times?
September
I told you, many men.
11 was our darkest hour. October 7 was Israel's darkest hour. They are our best friend. I worked for Ronald Reagan for 8 years. Ronald Reagan said, we have to be there for Israel always because they are always there for us.
Because they have a lot of our money?
Hamas is not there for us. Iran is not there for us. They want to kill us. And the Palestinians are taught to kill us at 2 years old. They won't let a Palestinian in Jordan. They won't let a Palestinian in Egypt. And Harris wants to bring them to you.
You can pause it right there.
Which is also factually incorrect.
Correct.
He sounds like an old man yelling at the clouds.
Yeah, but if the other side is very clear, right? Mm-hmm. Trump is on the record even this week saying, I talk to Netanyahu every day. I don't want Netanyahu to listen to Biden, and you know, Biden and Harris are saying they want a ceasefire. And, you know, according to Donald Trump, he's saying, oh, don't listen to Biden, go all out in your attack on the Palestinian community. If you are somebody that issue resonates for you, can you sit out in this moment and possibly allow a regime to come in that are saying like, yo, we don't even want Palestinian people. Like, would Palestinians now be part of the people that they're talking about mass deporting?
I mean, yeah, Trump has already said that. He's already said he's going to deport people who are organizing for a free Palestine.
Right.
But this is the moment for the Harris campaign to be like, let me get on this issue because we are nothing like the Republicans when it comes to Palestine. We are heartbroken and devastated about this destruction. We understand the pain and the hurt, and this is how we are going to change it. This is what I'm going to tell my State Department to do every time now going forward. If Americans are caught in a war, we're not going to leave Americans behind. Right. If you murder an American, these are the requirements you have for an investigation. We are going to announce that any person of Palestinian descent is going to be, you know, have a long-term status because you understand there is not a safe place for you to go back to. They can literally sit down with, I think the best thing that she could do right now is be pictured with a Palestinian. You have not seen in over 6 months, even a year, a picture with her with someone of Palestinian descent. Not even her own congresswoman from her own party, right? Think about that. When we think about optics, what you can do. I was very happy within the Philly speech. If you looked in behind her, that was like the first time someone else pointed out that you actually saw hijabis in a Democratic rally, right? This idea of, because people have been pressuring, where's your support for Muslims? Where's your support for the Muslim community? Where's your support for the Arab community? This last week was the first time you actually got to see actual top surrogates proudly saying, like, we are Muslims and we are with Harris. We are of this, conversation. People forget the uncommitted movement just asked her for a conversation and she said no. They could have had to sit down. They could have yelled, cried, and said, we won't endorse you. But the fact that she just said no, I don't know who is advising her. I think that is a problem. That could have been her I feel your pain moment. Yeah. And I think that would have endeared her, right? People obviously want policy changes. There are specific policies, arm embargo, ceasefire, the right to return, all these things are actual policies. But when you're a politician who is not going to budge on a policy, the very least you can do is be human and meet with people and show that you care, even if you don't. And the fact that she hasn't been able to do that, I think is very problematic, especially when you have people like Elon Musk spending millions of dollars. And I've talked to people who've gotten his ads, right? Yeah. He is sending mailers to Muslims and Palestinians specifically saying Harris stands with Israel, all this type of stuff, right? You know that he is targeting people who are angry, who are traumatized, who are in pain and hurt. And what is the counter argument that they have, right? Yeah. Trump is worse. Yes, we already know Trump is worse. But how are you better? What picture do I have with you sitting with my community? What picture do I have with you with a grieving mother? And I think that
But doesn't Trump make the case as to how they would be better? If Trump is making a case and saying that the Biden-Harris administration is trying to hold Netanyahu back and that he wouldn't do that, Isn't he making the case for them?
I will remember how Governor Shapiro was like, he does not support defund the police, all type of stuff, but he sat there and he took a picture holding hands with mothers whose children have been shot by police, right? Sometimes it is the optics.
Okay, gotcha.
And I think that the Harris campaign has been very good with other communities and optics. You know, her holding the picture of the young black girl, right?
Yeah.
Her with her best friends. The optics. Literally.
Her with Beyonce.
You know, her with Beyonce, right?
Yeah,
These cultural optics, right? At the restaurant, making the greens. There are things that are
her
cultural.
in One Hood's office.
That does not happen, right? So I do think that her having a round table, even if it's like a picture I think that works for her because I think, and I do think that at the end of the day, there you go. The majority of people who care about this issue are probably going to vote for her, right?
Yes.
And I think that for a lot of people, they feel like it's a betrayal of their values to vote for her.
And I understand that.
I think she has to say, you know what? Let me meet you somewhere in the middle.
I agree. So
and that's what I think would be like. Some people are too far gone, but I think you just got to show that you care, even if it's like just holding a hand.
Great point. I did want to say real quickly that everybody was not on board with Beyonce's speech. Amber Rose said she want to be me so bad, literally took my whole speech. So Amber Rose accusing, could you imagine, like Amber Rose accusing Beyonce of plagiarism?
I mean,
it's kind of crazy.
I know Beyonce's lawyer was like, for free, I got this.
Amber Rose, like, does Amber, like, so yes. Anyway, you were going to say something.
I would like to add, listening to everything that Miracle was saying, I also think it would be dope because we know that Kamala herself is not going to speak out against what's been happening to Palestinians, but...
Well, she's spoken out, but she hasn't gone far. Right.
Yeah, she said that she supports the ceasefire, but she's also been vocal about her support of Israel.
1,000%. And she's in an administration that is currently in power.
Yeah.
So part of the issue is like, you all can do something now.
Precisely.
And you kind of said, oh, we'll give you 30 days. And of course, that's going to be after the election.
Yeah,
so
and I feel like, we know that she herself isn't going to do anything when it comes to stopping the genocide that's happening in Palestine. But it would be nice with all the people that she's given a platform to speak at her rallies and stuff like that, if she would platform someone who speaks for the Palestinian people.
And whoever the young woman was that was, I guess, maybe scheduled to speak at the DNC and did not speak, her speech was amazing. It was really powerful. It was really good. It was really uniting. To me, that was a big missed opportunity.
Yes,
because
100%.
then maybe we're not having this conversation now because she could then be somebody that could be on the campaign trail in this moment. I mean, she did, to me, it was an amazing, for those that missed it, if you go back and look at that speech, she did an amazing job. I did also want to mention, because you mentioned Elon Musk, the Philadelphia DA, you know what I'm saying? Larry Krasner sued Elon Musk and his PAC to stop this $1 million lottery for voters. So we'll see if that happens, if that, if Elon stops it, if there's going to be any, it didn't mention Elon having any criminal charges. We'll see what happens in that. You know what I'm saying? You were saying, Trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a politician, I feel like when you're on a campaign trail, one thing that could really help you win over the hearts and minds of the people is at least showing that you're willing to have the conversation. Even if you don't agree with every point made in the conversation, opening the door and inviting people to the table with different perspectives and letting them know, hey, I will at least hear you out, right?
Yeah.
And I will at least bring you to the table so that we can see how we can work together, even if we don't agree on every single thing. I feel like that could get people, okay.
Absolutely.
It's like,
that's what you should do.
Yeah, it's like this president will actually hear me out. This president is willing to have the conversation.
Yes.
And we could at least get somewhere with this person in office.
Absolutely. And it was interesting.
That's why I don't run for office, because I got to deal with people who want more fireworks or deal with people. You got, because you do. I think that's the thing of like, when you run for office, you're running to be a public servant. You're running to serve the public. And I
And you said fuck the public.
I bet you seem like, but no. But I remember, like, I told this story here before when I was at the public defender's office. Couple of my clients were actual white supremacists, right? When you are running and you're in a place, a position of public power, you literally have to engage with people you do not like, people you hate, people who want to literally take your life.
Spoken and like a true 90s rapper. You said, fuck them kids.
No, but and I do think that we have to think about empathy, and we have to think about the impacts of our decision and our policies. And we're talking about creating this new world. We're fighting for freedom. We're moving on. You can't sit there and say we have this great multicultural society, but there's a whole segment of people you just cannot talk to. You had racist, transphobic Republicans at the DNC speaking.
Yeah, 1,000%.
You are running with Liz Cheney.
Yes.
Like
100%.
you are touting that all these Republicans and conservatives. Like if she comes out with Karl Rove, I'm gonna just
Karl Rove has campaigned with her.
You know what I'm saying? But like
maybe not with her, but he's
like,
campaigning.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can do everybody.
Well,
but a Palestinian.
You know who she did bring though. Speaking of people who will never run for public office, despite the fact that we all would love her to.
She would actually win, I think, hands
Michelle
down.
Obama. It'd have been a landslide. Michelle Obama, emerged again. And whenever she does, she's like the Kendrick. She's gonna come with some bars. When Michelle comes out, she's coming with some bars, and she had some bars or some words for the black men, or how men would be impacted by some of Trump's policies. Can you play a little bit of that?
Let me take a minute to help folks, especially the men in our lives, to get a better sense of what could happen.
She said, I'm going to clean up what Barack messed up. I'm going to come clean it up.
Parts of our reproductive care system, piece by piece, as Trump intends to do. I want folks to understand the chilling effect, not just on critical abortion care, but on the entirety of women's health. All of it. There are good reasons why so many women and physicians are horrified by what's happened since Donald Trump's justices overturned Roe v. Wade. We're seeing women scrambling across state lines to get the care they need.
You can pause
just
that.
This week.
Miracle made those points. Maybe Miracle, somebody is listening to our show. Because I felt like you spoke very powerfully on that. Again, here's Michelle Obama, extremely popular. Barack is on the campaign trail. Michelle is on the campaign trail, right? Like you said, Kerry Washington was just here. John Legend is popping up. Like, will this be enough to sway things? Apparently, Kamala has a little bit of a lead.
I think Michelle's messaging always hits. Right. I think her messaging shows that she is someone who is in tune with like the world and experience. And I think it's also because she grew up working class, so she understands that. But I do think that particularly when it comes to reproductive health, a lot of people just view reproductive health as abortion, right? They thought it was like this one procedure, and they forget that reproductive health goes before you have a child to 2 years after you have a child. And not having these medical systems are not only going to impact the person who is carrying the child, but also the partner, the spouses. If you are someone who could possibly get pregnant, you are going to be denied medical care. Right. Like even for me, we talked about me not having a baby, but like even for me, when I go to the doctor's office, one of the questions that they are asking is, do you think you could be at risk for having a pregnancy? Right. You have some of these politicians who have said that we need to track periods. We need to make sure that if women are going to travel and leave the state, that they are not pregnant, so they cannot go to another state to have an abortion. It's gone beyond just like one little 5-minute procedure to your ability to move, to your ability to go state to state, to your ability to travel. And I fear like if Trump wins, we are going to be like the United States, but 50 separate countries.
Yeah.
Where you're going to have your own passport to travel from state to state. And that's what we were like really turning into when we think about like states' rights. You got to think about if your rights as an American stop at a border, then you no longer have rights, because then who is going to enforce your rights?
I mean,
what happens if I go to Georgia and then I come back to Pennsylvania? Does the police in Georgia now have a right to come to Pennsylvania and arrest me because of our local politicians who've passed legislation?
Great question.
They don't have that right now. But if Trump is in office, can he pass a federal mandate? I mean, right? Can he use executive power to change that?
That's the scary part. He can do what he. I mean, it's almost like I mean, a vote for Trump is a vote for like just pure chaos. You know what I'm saying? Just pure chaos. But interestingly enough, Kamala wasn't the only one that had celebrities come out in support of her. On the NFL's Game of the Week, every Sunday night, they have the major mainstream game. The 49ers played the Dallas Cowboys, and in the introductory conversation with 3 of the 49ers, Nick Bosa crashed the interview wearing a Make America Great Again hat. This obviously brought up some interesting comparisons, because when he was a member of the 49ers, it was Colin Kaepernick who decided in that moment to take a knee during the national anthem, inspired by an actual soldier who wrote him and said it was respectful to take a knee. And he was banned from the NFL and sued them, and they settled with him, obviously not wanting to have all these things happen on trial. So now we're waiting to see if the NFL is going to say anything about Nick Bosa. I doubt it, because remember, Tom Brady had a Make America Great Again hat on in his locker one time where he did an interview. What do you all think? Do you all think, Farouk, do you think something should happen to Nick Bosa? I mean, here's the NFL. They have slogans in the end zone that say "Stop hate" and "End racism," and those are two things that Donald Trump does not. Donald Trump wants more hate, and he wants like more racism. Farouk, do you have anything that you want to say to this?
Whoop his ass.
Wait, whoop whose ass?
Anybody.
Nick Bosa? Or
yeah, man, fuck that nigga up.
He's not a Negro. Don't say the N-word.
Fuck that nigga up.
Is that 50 Cent talking, or is that
I'm just saying,
talking?
like, he can take care of himself. Like, let a couple niggas, you know what I'm saying, tap dance on his face and see how he feel about that shit.
Do you think that, so...
Like, I don't know what the conversation. Like, what you asking me?
I was not expecting that. Should the NFL?
But you can't lift weights at your chin, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Put your hands up.
So what I'm asking you, Farouk, as a football fan, as somebody that has worn a jersey on the show, for like 15,
I just told you what I think. Someone need to whoop his ass.
No, do you think the NFL? It's funny because there was a scenario that happened. If you follow the NFL, where the Oakland Raiders, they were the Oakland Raiders at the time. They had the only team that had an all-black offensive line.
Yeah.
And their quarterback, Derek Carr, came out and support Trump, and they were just letting this nigga get sacked left and right. I mean, this nigga was like crying in games. He was getting hit so hard. So, but I'm saying, obviously there's locker room folks and there's things that people could do. What I'm asking is, should the NFL or should the 49ers punish him or make some kind of statement the way they did with Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a unilateral zero tolerance policy for no political engagement on your players, like, I don't know exactly what the CBA currently states, right? But it's fair that if you treated Kaepernick away, then the same parameters should be enforced upon Nick Bosa. And you got a lot of capable individuals in that locker room that could fuck that nigga up. So,
he's not an N-word, so stop using the N-word. To
fuck that nigga up, Miracle.
No, here's the thing. I do think that because if no political activities are allowed when you're in mandatory required NFL activities, then he should be punished. He should, a fine or something, because the reason Kaepernick was allegedly violating code is because you were supposed to, as the NFL player, come out and listen to the anthem. You were not required to stand. It was not part of the contract.
Right.
So if he is doing something that is required by his contract and he's violating the rules, he should.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the CBA states.
Like, I don't think they're going to do anything. Why? Because it's too close to the election. But I would guess if I was the NFL on November 6th, a decision would be coming down.
It says he might face punishment from the NFL.
And it's going to be like, what, a fine? Or like, is he looking at suspension? Because if it's a fine, someone will probably pay that.
But Trump was just at the Steelers rally. And the Steelers
game. He was at the Steelers game.
The Steelers game. And the Steelers have famously said they didn't want their brand to be associated with electoral politics, right? So maybe this is showing a change in the fact that people understand that their base may have a political ideology and they're going to like soften some of the rules. Yes. But if that is the case, I do think about what that then means for individual players. Are they going to get the same now? Because it's either you don't punish
Can
them.
NFL players now come out in support of Kamala Harris the way Nick Bosa? But I will, just to speak up for the Steelers, it was Dan Rooney who, when he was alive, was the owner of the Steelers. That was the first major person in Western PA that came out in support of Obama. I think one of the first rallies was actually at the Steelers Stadium in support of Obama. So Dan Rooney supported Obama, later became the ambassador to Ireland. So he was pretty clear at that time. I don't know what the Steelers policies are now. Obviously, they do see a C3 work. The NFL does that, right? There's commercials in the NFL that's saying, get registered to vote and saying to vote, but not a particular candidate. So it will be interesting if they do say something, just for record, Nick Bosa at one point in time, I guess before he was drafted by the 49ers, called Colin Kaepernick a clown. He later on said that he respect what Kaepernick does. He said, I respect what he's done. If it empowers anybody, then he's doing a good thing. And then he apologized for that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, someone clearly wrote that for him.
Right. He also said something about Beyonce and the movie Black Panther, whatever. It said that his mom, not Kaepernick's mom, Nick Bosa's mom actually like retweeted something that said, you raised a great son, Bosa's for Trump. So clearly like the Bosas support Donald Trump, but it'll be interesting to see if that means that like another NFL player can come out with his support of Kamala
on game day.
Right. On game day during a big thing. Will somebody feel a certain type of way about that? Because there was also this controversy around, remember Patrick Mahomes basically came out and said, vote for who you want to vote for, even though his wife was in support of Trump and Taylor Swift came out for Kamala Harris. So I guess we'll see what happens. But we always know, like a black person speaking out is always looked at differently. I don't care how it's looked at as more, villainous, more scary. And all he did was take a knee. It reminds me of that Chappelle joke when he was like, damn, if I knew that that's what scared white people, I'd have been taking a knee. You know what I'm saying? Like all the time. And so we know how that goes. You had something you want to share, Miracle, about this subject?
I said something, but Trebles made me think of something else. And I was like, no. But no, I think it'd be cool if maybe they'll have like a athlete's political day or something.
Yeah.
So you can figure out where your athletes stand.
Because it did seem like when Trump came to Pittsburgh, he really his main goal in choosing former Steelers was like who had the most CTE. And it was almost like that was what... Who's been hitting the head the most? Okay, these two people. All right, we're gonna bring them into the conversation.
I'm not a big sports person. I'll watch a game. I'm like, okay, this person has a good story. So I don't really follow a lot of these athletes, but I do think that there is always like value in people being able to share who they really are. I think the problem is going to come in is like what happens, like you said, in that locker room when you find out like the person you thought was like
true. Yeah.
They've known this the whole time.
But sometimes people don't, like, right? I mean, people know about Nick Bosa, right? Because he had things, before, and you have to like talk about, team unity and all of that. Yeah. But I'm saying is now if like you don't punish him, then does that now mean like Eric Reed and everybody else deserves an apology? Yeah. But now everybody else can be political, because it used to be you cannot endorse a politician on company time because it's bad for the brand.
Yeah.
But now if you're going to be making like politics kind of culture and social media, is it now going to be like branding politics? And then where does it stop?
But just speaking to your point, Ice-T had a tweet today where he said, what I hate the most in this time is finding out people I consider friends are racist. They may like me, but talk shit about other races openly and probably don't like other black people. Make America great again by the way America is a continent, including Mexico. You know what I'm saying? He says, I'm not Democrat or Republican, but character is more important to me than politics. Fuck that clown, talking about Donald Trump and those that roll with him. So it is that thing of maybe in this moment not seeing, or, there also has been this, like, I guess some people are making TikToks, like when you vote differently than your husband or whatever, or like white women were making TikToks like, oh, I'm going to vote to cancel out my husband's vote. And then people are saying, but why would you then be with somebody that is like,
I didn't know that was
straight up racist and wants to take away women's rights? Oh, that's a big thing.
It's a whole whisper campaign. And my thing is like, are we not going to pretend like a lot of people are in domestic violence situations? Because that is like really, really scary. You got to tell people, like, there's a whole thing about like your vote being private. That is just like wild to me.
Yes.
But it's also like that's the thing of like the whole opposites attract. Like there are so many progressive, even people I know, like there are so many progressive leftist people whose partners are like Republicans, and you just like, oh my God.
I mean, I guess,
it's very common, unfortunately.
Yeah. My favorite story of the week.
Oh no.
I have a favorite story. Australia bans Candace Owens from entering the country due to anti-Semitism. Candace Owens has been banned from Australia. A quote from the immigration minister says, Australia's national interest is best served when Candace Owens is somewhere else. Isn't that in all of our best interests is best served?
It's just
if Candace Owens would just shut the fuck up, like, we'd be a much better place.
All the violence and genocide Australia actively participates in, and they draw the line at Candace Owens. That's just interesting.
But I mean, that's a great place to draw the line, though.
I mean,
in my opinion.
But
I wish all countries would draw the line at Candace Owens.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I disagree.
Oh, you don't?
I think that when she was saying anti-blackness, that was fine for her
correct.
to be banned.
That is correct.
When she was going on tirades, saying George Floyd basically deserved to be murdered, to be banned. I think to wait until she has began to advocate for other people and talked about why she supports Palestinians, to then accuse her of anti-Semitism, because she does say some things like that whole Crisis King that is very anti-Semitic, right? Like the whole line of engagement. That is my problem.
I mean, didn't she say something like, didn't she have a statement where she was kind of like, Hitler wasn't all bad? What didn't she say?
No, but I'm saying, like, it's this idea like you allow bigoted people to do bigoted things.
That's true.
Then you're like, oh no, it's gone too far. Well, why didn't you stop them 5 years ago?
Because remember, Ben Shapiro, who's Jewish, was like supporting her. And then when she crossed the line, and then he was like, "Oh, you're off my channel. I can't." Oh, the whole, like you said, all the anti-black stuff was cool, but then when she started talking about your community, now you want to kick her off.
And that's also something I was talking about the rally. It was like we have become so desensitized to people being anti-black that we just accept it now. True. We just be like, okay, this person's a racist.
That's
okay,
true.
Whatever.
That is true.
And now, like you've seen how like Puerto Ricans would be like, what?
Yes.
Like you've seen like this massive support of Puerto Ricans and Hispanics being like, why are you talking to us like talking about us like this? And you've seen this pushback so much so that actual Republican committees are apologizing for having this person there, right?
It's crazy.
And so I do think that we also as a community have to start pushing back against anti-black. We gotta make racists fearful again. Yeah. We gotta make people who use black pain and black trauma, black heartache to build a platform like deplatformed again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it starts with, kind of like,
Nick Bosa.
Well, no, I think it starts November 5th. I think that if Trump wins, then white supremacy wins, right? Then, anti-Semitism wins. All of these things, right? Hate wins, right? And if Trump loses, then at least we have some type of temporary victory. That's not to say the Democrats aren't also a white supremacist party and don't engage in anti-blackness. So we're not trying to make that distinction. We're not trying to make it seem like, oh, the Democrats are all good. But I mean, Trump hasn't even came out and disavowed what this man said about any of the statements this comedian made on the very same stage as him. Nobody, even to that night, said, hey, comments were made earlier. Hey, those weren't good. We don't agree with those. They just kept pushing it like it was cool. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the problem, because I do think that and we even on this podcast will kind of kindly check each other. We'll have questions. We'll push back. I think you have to. I don't think you should have just blind loyalty to any person or any party. And if you're not, but if you're not able to tell, and that's one thing I've never understood about allyship. If you're never able to tell your friend that they're doing wrong, how are you being a friend?
Absolutely.
If you're not able to say, this is not who we are publicly, when somebody publicly does something wrong, how are you able to engage and build? It just doesn't make sense.
But I think the difference is, like you said, people are engaging Trump like some deity figure, like some godlike figure. And when you hear from these Trump voters, they're like, he's a god, like God chose him to bring America back. And so even at this Madison Square Garden rally, it's like they said Kamala was the Antichrist, right? Kamala was Satan. That said the same thing about Obama, right? This idea that this is not like a normal election. This is not like I'm voting for a politician. To them, they're looking like this guy is the savior for whiteness and white America, or America from the others, right? And so that's something very different. And so you don't question God. So why would you question somebody that you feel is like God's representative? And to have a dude so openly this dude has 50 pictures with Epstein. By all accounts, everything Trump has done in his life has been so ungodly.
Yes.
It's hard to believe. And so it's just you look at this and you're like, yo, people are really brainwashed, and it's crazy.
I think that people lean into the hate, though.
They do.
And I think that we've made excuses for so many people.
Yeah.
But some people are just mean and hate-filled, and they want to be mean and hate-filled.
Yes.
And I think that that is hard to distinguish between the people who have been caught up, the people who are there for the spectacle, or the people who feel like they're just left out and they want something to blame. Because also, if you're failing and most of the time when you fail, it's easier to blame others than yourself.
Yes.
So it's easier to say this immigrant stole my job, this person took my spot, than it is to say I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And I think that Trump is speaking to a lot of people who bought into this American dream that failed them.
Yes.
And instead of being able to sit there and say what I was told wasn't true, it's let me just be angry and blame somebody else.
Yes.
I was told that this factory job would support my family and I'd be able to retire. Now it's automated. Who do I blame for that?
Yes. I almost feel I want to move to our white pages. This might be the scariest. What? White people probably so in fear. Comrades, sisters, women of the Black Panther Party. I feel like it's something that's...
This is ooh.
Oh my God. This is all this women with afros and they're from the Black Panther Party. But shout out, this is our white pages. Stephanie Shames and Erica Huggins, Comrade Sisters, Women of the Black Panther Parties, is our white pages of this week. We have some important, announcements or things happening Thursday, right here at our very own Black Box. We have an event, Democracy After Dark, a Halloween event, talking about this current political moment. It starts at what time?
5 o'clock.
How starts that on?
I think doors open at 5. Really starts at 6.
Okay.
I just realized that next week is going to be election day.
Next week is election day.
I can't wait for it to be over.
Yes. We have
not wait
one more week.
It's going to be over.
One more week. Also, do you have anything happen in Trouble besides all of our crazy sprint to the election day?
Nah, I'll be at Democracy After Dark.
Yes.
Dressed up.
Okay.
You know, in my costume.
Okay.
If you see me in the same costume you did last weekend, please be quiet.
Yes.
Don't say anything.
Don't. Yeah, just rock it.
Who cares, bro?
Let the brother rock
You know
out.
what I'm saying? Why would I spend extra money?
Exactly.
You feel me?
Come on.
We're being industrious.
Yes.
Exactly.
Sir.
Yeah.
I mean, his play. I think his play will
That's
be
it?
over by then.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
His
That's
play
it?
will be over by
Like
then.
Usher.
We did want to send a special birthday shout out. You know, when this
Miss Michelle?
airs, Miss Michelle's birthday was Friday. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
But when this airs, our very own Jasmine
Yeah.
Green will
Long
be
job.
celebrating her birthday. You know what I'm
Long
saying?
job.
Our
Jazzy Jazz.
director, our creative director here at One Hood Media. So shout out to you, Jazz. She does a lot behind the scenes
Yes,
for the
indeed.
show. And she's appeared on the show one time, but has refused to come on unless Miracle.
It's okay, but
also
can we
here.
all celebrate? We're just one day closer to my vacation.
Yes, mine too. I'm rolling out Wednesday evening.
Wednesday, what day? Next week?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm out because I'm assuming we're gonna shoot Wednesday morning because we're probably not gonna shoot Tuesday because we want to at least know something.
I'm glad I can.
Yes.
I
So-
mean, it's okay. I'm glad you get to go on vacation after denying other people their right to vacation.
Oh shit.
But it is okay.
This week is a very hectic week for One Hood. We also have a fundraiser for One Hood Power. A lot happening in the world of One Hood. But we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate the support that we've been getting. We've been getting your emails. We're going to bring blackmail back probably, definitely after the election. So keep sending your
One more
emails to info@onehood.org. That's info@onehood. And keep, supporting us, buying merchandise. We're getting your merchandise orders. We appreciate that as well. If you want to buy some One Hood merchandise, go to onehood.org. That's onehood.org. You get some One Hood merchandise. One more thing.
Black Excellence. Shout out to Ime for getting the $600 million investment for the city of Pittsburgh, doing a lot of this work.
And Ime had a LA screening of his new documentary, The Ebony Canal. Yes.
So yes.
What was that?
Sorry about that. That was me. With that being said,
that was time.
that was the flute. That was the flute because I'm Andre 3000, and that was my flute. With that being said, this has been This Week in White Supremacy. Peace, y'all.